From Mufulira, Tundola, Kitwe, via Kalilushi, Chingola to Chilabombwe, proceeding to Mokambo. Tune in every day on Mafken FM 97.7, the Copper Belt's chosen radio.
You're still listening to Mafken FM, and of course this is the Express Chit Chat review this morning. As we move on and continue discussing issues of national importance, let's get to the next item that we do have this morning, Mishek.
Yes, Mwengu, and our 2031 presidential candidate is live in studio. We'll introduce him later on.
Right.
I know I've seen a number of text messages saying who wants to go to State House 2031, but we're going to introduce him very soon and pretty soon. At this point, let's fall back on the story to deal with the DRC. And we are now joined on the line by Madam Jeanne Mukamurenzi. She'll correct me. I think I've tried to pronounce her name phonetically, Mwengu.
Right.
Jeanne Mukamurenzi. She is the local government minister in the Rwandese People's Government in exile. This is a government that is in exile, and we are talking to her. She is in Europe at the moment. We are not going to disclose the country where she is for her own security reasons. Jeanne, good morning, and how are you today?
Good morning, Mishek. Good morning, dear listeners. I'm doing fine, thank you. And I hope you are fine too.
I'm well, Jeanne. I'm well. And yes, let's now break it down. The happenings in the DRC. We have seen M23. They have taken over Goma. They are now threatening to get into Kinshasa. Equally, we have also seen regional bodies such as SADC, AU, are now blaming President Kagame for fomenting that war in the eastern part of the DRC. What is your comment in that regard as the Rwanda's People's Government in exile?
Thank you very much, Mishek. Indeed, it is very sad what is happening in the DRC. And as someone who is from Rwanda, I'm Rwandese, I'm very sad that our neighboring country can be going through such miseries caused by one dictator, Paul Kagame. Yes, we have seen the conflict has been going on. It's now 30 years, and every single day people are dying at the hands of Paul Kagame, who has been supporting those terrorist groups.
And President Kagame has repeatedly denied that Kigali is involved in funding the March 23 rebels.
Sometimes he denies and sometimes he agrees. So the whole thing is on him. The whole thing smells him. He's the sponsor of that war. And at some point here, he says his soldiers are there because they are hunting the FDR. And at some point they're saying that his country is threatened. But I want to put it clear that the DRC has not even ever thrown any stone in Rwanda. So what is he trying to say? Kagame is there because if you see the Rwanda process, peace process, it is Rwanda who has been there. I mean, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has been going there for that talk. So why has he been going there if Rwanda is not in the DRC? So the world knows that Kagame is behind that war. He's the one who is supporting the war. Those who are there, they are his surrogates. So he shouldn't deny anything. And actually now it is clear that it's him. He is there. and it is about time he faced the consequences of causing havoc in that country.
And after all, why is President Kagame or Rwanda interested in Eastern DRC? Just give us a history of this war, which has been going on for over 30 years now.
Thank you very much. Since Kagame assumed power in Rwanda after, bloodshed, after killing so many millions of Rwandese, he went into Congo and in the pretext that he was following those who had he had just defeated in Rwanda's conflict. So since then he entered there, and that's where the misery of Congo started. If you look back, if I take you back into history, this conflict started immediately after Kagame and his RPF assumed office in Rwanda. Before that, Rwanda and Congo were at peace. There was no conflict at all. So the whole process was about looting the minerals in Congo, and that's what actually those minerals are the ones who are making up the economy of Rwanda. If you see Kagame saying that he has built roads, there are many buildings there, just know that those are the proceeds of crimes from Congo, the minerals from Congo. After killing so many people, he's looting there so that he can sell those minerals and pocket the money. And by the way, that money is not benefiting any Rwandan. It's just going into his pocket and his few cliques. So the war in Congo is all about looting the Congolese minerals, which is very sad, and it should be condemned, because such someone with a criminal mind shouldn't have any say in our history today. That he can kill people. He can kill people to steal their resources, and the international community continues to watch while he does such heinous crimes.
In that regard, Jeanne, what do you expect from SADC and the AU?
Actually, this has been our cry. This has been everyone's cry, especially for us in Rwandan people's government in exile, that the sanctions should be meted on him immediately, because he can't continue. If he is not punished for what he's doing, he will continue. He thinks he's a star. He thinks he's untouchable. So the SADC, I'm appealing to SADC to put up punitive measures to stand up with the people of the DRC so that they can fight and defeat that dictator. The AU should also impose sanctions on Paul Kagame, his cliques, his government officials, those who are directly involved in that war, so that the Congolese people can at least feel that kind of relief that actually there's something being done. But as it stands right now, it looks like Kagame is untouchable, that you can impose the sanctions on Netanyahu, and Kagame is there, who has caused the death of about 18 million people. He's still working on the red carpet, and nothing is being done. Until the AU stands up and stop collaborating with that dictator, the fall of Kagame will be the beginning of peace and stability in the region. So the SADC stand up with the people of the DRC. The Africa at all should stand up with the people of the DRC and bring this dictator, the murderer, the one with the blood of millions and millions of people. He should fall. He should be made to pay to account for what he has caused in the region. Mind you, the stability in the DRC is the stability in Africa, is the stability in the GREX region. And that stability is not going to be found if that dictator is still standing. So we should bring him down so that the DRC can have peace. And we are ready to march to Kigali to offer that much needed leadership so that our people can live in harmony again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's Jeanne Mukamurenzi Mwengu, the Minister of Local Government for the Rwanda's People's Government in Exile. And those views by the Rwandan People's Government in Exile, Mwengu, do not represent our views. They represent the views of the government in exile. And for the record, Mwengu, the UN has over 11,000 troops in the Congo. Yes, Mwengu, let's continue. But before we continue, our next guest, our chief guest, 2031 presidential candidate, before we introduce him, let's play this song. I think it's synonymous with him. It's an anthem song for him. And we'll be listening to this song time and again every time he joins us on radio. Do we have that song?
Of course, it's set this morning, and I believe that we can go ahead. As we continue, please stay tuned to Mafken FM.
Bringing quality radio to you.
ngani nebu ngana chambira pofai na ingisha na sepeni na wanu falia na bula na eiti na yona iton tafalia anokula nda kwa jangu kao acha chine kulanda kwa ngomba kwa ishu awa kulanda kwa jangu kao ngomba kwa ishu mwebanandie kulanda kwa ngomba kwa ishu awa kulanda kwa jangu kao ngomba kwa ishu kambina bena atingana likateka amarofu amukyalo muno gatamuwaba ngana alifusha enchito bonse nga balabomba alokulanda kwalyanguka okubo imwe wantu kulanda kwalyanguka okubomba kwaishu okulanda kwalyanguka okubomba kawekatine kulanda kwalyanguka okubomba kwawe awokulanda kwalyanguka okubomba kwaishu kwe balumendo bonse natuifushe nibanga twalayo kupanga twalibopa kusha twalibopa nangu twaupa bambi ukulanda tinkakupa kwenama kwalyanguka ukulanda kwalyanguka ukubomba kwalishu alokulanda kwalyanguka ukubomba kwawachachine kulanda kwalyanguka.
Great songs of the glorious band there. And of course, you're still listening to Mafken FM Copper Belt's chosen radio. Time says 9:48. We're still on the Express Chit Chat review this morning, discussing issues of national importance. Let's move on and get to the next item that we have this morning, Mishek.
Yes, at this juncture, Mwengu, allow me to introduce our chief guest in studio.
Right.
And he's also at the same time the 2031 presidential candidate. He's going to explain to the listener which ticket he's going to use. Honourable Anthony Mumba, welcome to...
Thank you very much, Meshek, and a wonderful good morning to you. It's nice to see you in 2025, Mwengu.
Happy New Year,
You don't
Honourable.
seem to be changing. I'm
In what ways, Honourable?
I'm sure I've lost a bit of weight. I'm sure you can give me that credit.
And how were the holidays, Honourable Mumba?
Well, before I answer that question, let me also say good morning to our listeners out there. It's wonderful to be back home. And Mishek, Mafken Radio is hitting airwaves badly. You know, I've listened to various programs. Every politician wants to be in Kantanshi and Mafken Radio. I think we should be proud and we should clap for ourselves, and particularly you and your anchors and all the people that are involved in all these programs you're carrying out. I think that you have made us proud as a constituency. And more and more people are knowing about this constituency that I've been privileged to lead, courtesy the people of Kantanshi. And it's all good. Congratulations to you. And I know that you'll be a hive of activity very, very soon.
The phone is busy.
The phone is busy. Well, the holidays, we thank God, were okay. Didn't turn out according to the way we wanted them to come out, but suffice to say that God has been kind, and I'm here finally in the constituency. When I arrived on Tuesday, on Thursday I was here. But when I arrived around 22 hours, I looked at my constituency and I found how dark it was. And I said, oh my God, this is what people have been complaining about, the load shedding and so on, which I must say, Mishek, there is really serious need for, and I'm appealing to ZESCO as the Member of Parliament for Kantanshi, that I think they really need to take time to go around and see what's happening. Top shops, business is dead. And people are frustrated. I've been driving around. The rains have been good. I just hope they will not be too strong.
And you have seen the roundabout?
And the roundabout, is also good. Good initiative by the mayor. The only problem is that the mayor does not recognizing others who assist him. He wants to take credit, and I did raise those concerns with him to say you must learn in leadership to recognize those who help to arrive at a product. And I saw as though that wasn't enough, on the program, although I did announce that I will not be available since I was in London, I will not, I'll not be available. But on the program, MP Kantanshi was not there. When and I've announced it here, what I did, the same thing, he did the same thing on Wuteko Market. He had to take President Hakainde Hichilema to say, where is the MP? He's the owner of the constituency. But look, those are petty politics. They don't, they don't really matter. What I think is important is what that song I've said will be the flagship of myself into the campaign in 2026. And thereafter,
all the way.
No. And thereafter, we'll look at 2031. I would have spent, God willing, if the people of Kantanshi allow me to continue, I would have spent 15 years in Parliament. And I think at that time I'll be about 53 years old. The Bible is very clear. God has given us a mark of up to 70. And after 70, anything he gives you after 70 years is a bonus. Yeah. So really, when you're planning your life, you must plan it in such a way that your mark should be 70. And if your mark is 70, then it also speaks to what the book of Peter says. When you die, usually there is a famous scripture that people read, and that is, he has run his race.
Right.
And I think that my plans, again, if you look at what the Bible says about plans, the book of Proverbs chapter 16, if you read verse 1, it will remind you that, of course, you can have plans, but of course God's plans will supersede. But you must have a plan.
Right.
So, and then members are clever. They will say, Olubilo luamwipi, kubangila. So and I hope he goes with his confused member. But I guess I also learn a bit. You see, Mishek, for me, I always learn from people, both those who criticize me, those who praise me, because that's what the Bible teaches us. And I think the success that I've had in my life, considering the background I came from, Mishek, kuno for Mishek, bread that wale ya kampompo, butter yali nikota pela, sugar ya koche yali tea. Ilianga tuasa ifo tuali sugar ko tuali kona pa trasco. Ila tea ilianga ila ine ya sugar ilianga mwabika. Yale mweneka ngana wika drinking bottle got in jolly juice. So when I look back and I look at the life that God has privileged me, of course the people of Kantanshi, having served as a diplomat in the UK at a very early age, I think I was about 27, became member of parliament at 38, been happily married over 20 years now, the 20th anniversary.
Congratulations, you celebrated your
Thank you very much.
anniversary.
And, seeing our firstborn child in university, that's the reason why we went to the UK to go and see how he's staying. And then, of course, my daughter writing her final year exam this year. I think God has adequately blessed me. And, of course, working for the people of Kantanshi. I think that's been one of my greatest achievements, being of service to the people. And I think that that's what I intend to do after 2031, only that my plans are that I should try something different. And God giving me good health, God allowing me to continue this amount of support I've continued to receive from people, and also continue to learn from people. I think that life is about learning. Once you stop to learn, just know that the next thing is to die. Because then there's nothing. And I know 2026 will be equally very interesting. The only thing is that I have no time for political malice. I have no time to, describe people in a defamatory manner. I think that the Christian background which my mother and father raised me in reminds me that it's important to bridle your tongue. The book of James also reminds us to bridle your tongue is basically to know what to say.
Taming your tongue.
Exactly.
Right.
And most politicians seem to have a loose tongue. And they
It's
think
quite
that,
fashionable among you politicians, Honourable.
No,
And
but
I will tell you this.
but
I will
it's-
remind you that every time we're having issues of such nature discussing politics, those are some of the politics and comments that we get from your fellow politicians.
Well,
Is that the fashion of what politics should be?
I think that Mwengu, you have, hosted me many a time on this program.
Right.
And many other programs that I've been on. Even in Parliament, people will tell me, no, you should have said it this way. I'm not a guy who likes to make political headlines.
Okay.
I think that the substance of what you're trying to contribute should be able to translate in somebody's life getting better. All of us can insult. All of us can have loose tongues. But again, why has the Bible been guiding us? Why has the Bible told us don't be puffed up with pride? Because all of us, God has given us pride. But sometimes you don't use that pride properly. And for me, I don't think that there's anything that you get from being sarcastic. Actually, people start to have a very demeaning thought around you. Because you think you're making a point, but you're actually not. And I think that for me, in this journey that I've been in, leadership, whether it's at family level, the way I look at my brothers, the way I look at my sisters, my cousins, the way I look at the constituency, it's not everybody who's going to clap for you. It's just, you've got to understand that.
Right.
It's not everybody who's going to like you. You've got to understand that. And it's unfortunate that if you start pushing an agenda for people to like you, then you start, bootlicking and doing all sorts of funny things because they want you to think that your well-being is around them, then you're not a man. Then you can't stand on your own. You must be able to stand on your own. And many a time what I've learned in my political career, if I look back from 2016 when I came back from diplomatic service and I mounted and Mishek that time met me and we were laughing because we're together at secondary school, but we're not colleagues.
Okay.
He was my senior. And, I had my own thing going on.
Right.
I was so sure I'll go to Mpelembe Secondary School. And I missed Mpelembe Secondary School by a few marks. And my father said, second selection, I'm not going to support you because I told you, stop swimming. Concentrate at school. Because every time we knocked off, we're going swimming and all sorts of these, activities. And so I had to prove myself at grade, I passed to go to Mfira Secondary School. My friend Obin Bewe, his father, managed to take him into the second selection, and we're together in AG1, and I remained alone there from Mfira Trust School. Of course, I made friends. I'm quick at making friends. I don't really have qualms about, being friendly with people. And, at grade 9, I was one of the best, and that's how I found myself at DK. The first time for me to go to Lusaka, and I found these red buses called double-decker buses. And
you found them?
I found them. And but when I came back from the UK and I was planning, for Kantanshi and all that, everybody, I remember I received a call one time from Honourable Winter Kabimba. There was a director he had, a director of communication at
Chris Mfula. He's now at University of Success in.
Oh,
yes,
yeah. I think that must have been. I think that must be the guy who traced my number. So as we're approaching 2016. I think that must be 2014, 2015, because by then I'd already started cultivating a relationship with the people here. And, trying to empower them, speak to them. When I was growing up, because, our home used to have a lot of people. So most of the people started now working for the mine, Barikalakulakuma section. They're still there and so on. And they really, you don't go up, you have a nice time, you have 50 kwacha here and so on. So I was very familiar with the mine area and the people that were living in there. But the point is this. I remember Honourable Winter Kabimba calling me one day, and then he had been dismissed from by President Sata. He had been dismissed from
Justice
Minister and SG. He was SG. And so he calls me, he says to me, are you Anton Mumba? I said, yes, I am. And I remember I was at Ministry of Finance, of course, doing my business. And then he says, I hear you are trying to stand in Kantanshi. I said, yes, I am. Do you think PF is going to adopt you? I said, that would be foolish to think like that. You know. He says, yeah, you strike me as a very intelligent young man. Thank you very much. That was the end of our conversation.
When you started your work, Honourable,
yes,
for Kantanshi,
yeah,
and there was a lot of talk, in Mufulira, is he going to defeat the giant? And
Yes.
This morning, repeatedly, I've referred to you as a 2031
Yes.
presidential candidate.
Yes.
And I know some people are so candid, they're saying,
yes.
is it true,
Yes, it is.
Honourable Mumba?
Yes, it is.
You are jostling for the presidency
Yes,
2031?
I will be. And like I've broken it down for you, I think at 53, I'll be more mature to, I think, provide the service of our country. I do have an idea on how we can create better jobs, how we can end casualization in the mining sector. I do have an idea on how we can build apprenticeship programs which should be able to support the young people and be able to prepare them for jobs as the economy continues to heal. Look, we have a population of 20 million people, and it's too little a number considering the amount of wealth God has given us. I haven't come here to unleash my
Your manifesto? Okay.
but I've just come to alert and probably warn those who think that, for me, I think in the conventional manner they do think. I think one of the things that was a very difficult decision to run away from was when I was handed over the adoption certificate by the PF, because, as you know, I never applied. And I've been called names. I've been abused to say, no, if, this is a party that sponsored you, you should this and that. And for me, I believed in lower taxes, more money in people's pockets, speaking for the poor. But what we got out of the election afterwards obviously got me thinking, why do we have so much corruption? What has tainted the image of the PF? But if you look at the values that President Sata was espousing, they really made sense.
Yeah.
And today it's a pity you don't even hear him being talked about in the PF. And yet the core values of the party should be around him and what he believed, because that's what the many people support PF bought into, And it's sad that we have lost that vision, and maybe it will come back in another form one day.
Through you?
Well, I believe in most of the things that President Sata believed in. Where it comes to the people who are suppressed, look at the miners right now. These ones that we keep talking about, who are working under contractors. Look at those conditions of service they have in a sector which is the backbone of our economy. Mufulira is part of the backbone of this economy. And I was laughing with somebody earlier yesterday when I was saying, can you imagine a child of a miner, which is the backbone of our economy, looking after the economic status of our country, whether it's finances, well-being of the people, and so on? Wouldn't that be just nice? I mean, how can you have a town like Mufulira, and particularly a constituency like Kantanshi, which is so politically revolutionary, and yet it has never produced a president? And yet everybody wants to talk on Mafcan radio. This is the center in terms of action politically. Name which town. Which town is the center of politics? When I won Honourable from Kanga, there were so many twists and stories that was created and accusations against President Edgar Lungu. Okay? And I remember when President Edgar Lungu once called me, he says in 2016, in March, he says, what's this nonsense I hear? You're standing as independent. And I said, certainly I know that you can't adopt me because your party is about comradeship. Even if I know Mishek Moyo will lose in Mufulira Central because it's comradeship, I'm a big enpofi. Or as long as Mishek Moyo believes in what I believe in, even if it doesn't make sense, okay? Pantu na asumi na Mishek. Nenshi, emuntu. So I discovered that one of the weaknesses in PF is if you have a different opinion, it's either you have been bought by UPND, which UPND never, I don't see which money UPND gives. I think naturally they're a party that doesn't just believe in that. For PF, I think that's why most people think like that, because there's always exchange of money. Oh, Mishek has to do this for us. Oh, you have seen the fight now between Sean Tembo and the Nakachinda over 340,000. That is very synonymous in PF because it's always money was given, somebody has done something, and so on and so forth.
Are you forming your own political party, Honourable Mumba?
No, I'm not forming my own political party. I think there will be options in the future. But what I wanted to make it known and clearly known is that I don't do the obvious that people think. When Honourable Jeanne Mukamurenzi was, and you know, I'm a fair person. I remember we had, my father and his father came. My father and his father came from the village looking for employment opportunities. And at one point, my older brother says, no, let's sit with Honourable Jeanne Mukamurenzi. Maybe you should be his errand boy. And I said, well, I just came back from diplomatic service. Why not? I mean, he's got so much influence. I can be a PS. I don't mind. I can be called PS. But I need to make sure I maintain a relationship that I've built with the people in Kantanshi for my future use. I'm not just going to back out. And then, of course, there was a story to say, oh, no, let's send him to Canada. I said, I just came back from the UK. I go to Canada to do what? I've already had a stint in my diplomatic service. 3 to 4 years was enough. And I believe it's time to work in Zambia and build myself and so on. And I, I have a passion for business. And I said, look, I needed to also do business. So he didn't agree to that. He said, no. If he puts in 2 billion, I'll put in 4 billion. If he puts in 4 billion, I'll put in 8 billion. And of course, part of my contracts like RATSA and so on were cut. There was that innovation I brought of testing motor vehicles to reduce the levels of road carnage by ensuring that you just don't look at the vehicle and say it's fit. It goes through a mechanical process. And I was the first person who brought that technology from Germany. And then, of course, the jaws of life. Again, I was the person who brought in the first jaws of life that you even see here at this fire brigade. So, so when my business started being crumbled, I said, look, I've already built a relationship with the people, so I'm going to go with it. But in his mind, he thought, oh, he just came back from diplomatic service under the MMD. I had a relationship with President Rupia Banda, which was a family relationship. All right, his niece and my late elder brother, shared a child. So we had that family relationship. And obviously, when he looked at my credentials, he thought, I think I would be better placed as Trade Secretary in the UK. And that's how I went to the UK. So when I came back, according to Honourable...
you have clarified that, Honourable Mumba, because others saying, no, he is an MMD person, you came from the MMD.
I was a strong supporter of President Mwanawasa because at that time of President Mwanawasa, I was studying in the UK. So President Mwanawasa, for medical reasons, always used to be in the UK. And he always wanted Zambians to visit him because he wanted to be explaining to them. Remember at that time, President Mwanawasa had built a strong case against corruption. So he was misunderstood to say, how can it be so in this case, President Frederick Chiluba gave him an opportunity to run as president, and then he started going back to investigate President Chiluba's perceived corruption cases and so on. So he always wanted to interact with Zambians to say, look, this is not true, this is what we're doing, and so on and so forth. So I got to know him, and he got to know me. And obviously, even when I was coming back, already plans were that I was going to work in Zambia Railways, which was now just being taken over by an Israeli company through a concession. Okay, so so there were talks, at that level. So you see, in life, your net worth is based on your net, your connections. Yeah. So you don't expect. I mean, I come from Muflira here, where the only thing we knew is about mining. Kura Fara Feovaro, Lama Jombo. Okay, that's what we knew. And then when I went to the capital city, where the center of action of Zambia is, the president lives there. So you get to start to know what happens here, what happens there. And I'm happy that, school took me to DK. My brains took me there. God took me there. And I got to learn a lot of things. I got to learn this, that, and how to go around the corridors of power and how I got. But the point is, Honourable Jeanne Mukamurenzi was so sure I was going to run on MMD. He didn't even think, not even for a second, that I was going to run on as an independent. He never, ever everywhere he went, because MMD was finished, and he assumed that this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's going on a finished party. MMD. And he would even tell my older brother, huh? And Honourable Kambwili, last time I went to visit, somebody was asking here to say, what does Honourable Mumbipiri have against you?
By the way, she's listening.
And she's listening, and she knows.
She sent the text.
I said, Honourable Mumbipiri, I mean, my older brother knows those were called Kamuchanga babies. Those were rough women in the past. So I know her. So even when she talks, Anthony, prostitute, I know his family. She's just like that. There's nothing you can do. I heard one of your interviewers was asking her, do you have anything against Anton Mumba? He says, no, I don't. What? And so on. I understand her background. Okay. My elder brother always loves to say, she herself, Mumbipiri, and another lady, she's late. She was in war. So my older brother was there. I'm a babyist. What do you mean? About your presentation. Well, she's more than welcome, to ask me. But I have an idea of what I want to do. And by the time actually I'm running for that, position, I mean, those will be our senior citizens. I know, but listen, I need to clear one thing. So he was so sure. But Anton Mumba is running for independent for MMD. So my older brother would always ask me, what are you going for? I said, don't worry. No, you're wasting money. The only person who stood with me in my family, apart from my mother, was my nephew, my driver, Henry. Yeah. The two of us used to have meetings around midnight to strategize. And can you believe, even my close friends, in their hearts, were against me. But they would show me their ivory, their teeth. But I knew I had support. And when we sit in the night with Henry, we say, okay. So I ran independent. Oh my God. I thumped the man, couldn't believe it. 12,000 against 4,000. So the results were kept for 4 days, as you know, without announcing. You remember?
I remember very well that day when
4 days.
You fought in as an independent. I think I was somewhere in northern province.
Yeah. You're in Luapula, actually.
Yes, sir.
And you were saying, what's that you have done?
Yeah. I remember I was doing some consultants under the presidential
Yes.
President Lunga just introduced.
And in fact, at that time, you were with Chandakawe in Luapula. You were saying, what is this you have done, Honourable Anton? I said, no, you will see, just wait. Yeah. But look, what am I trying to say? The people of Kantanshi voted for me. All right? So when all this, when I now stood on, President Edgar Lungu came here, is it 2018?
Yes.
2018 he came.
Right.
When he realized to say, I think this is independent. Because you see, Honourable Davis Chama was very upset because he lost also from an independent. And these were senior members. And I do understand. But it wasn't intentional. So, of course, they were up in arms with Edgar Lungu to say, if you appoint any independent, and they knew that the only independent we're talking about is that chap in Kantanshi, because Kantanshi is a revolutionary constituency. This is where it all starts.
Produce a revolutionary
this is where we will produce a revolutionary
president. I know you don't gloss over your remarks.
No, I don't.
Mumba.
So
others are trying to walk to Kinshasa.
Others are trying to walk to Kinshasa.
Are you walking to Lusaka? Have you consulted your family?
No. Just wait. I'm already talking to the people of Kantanshi. Of course, my family is my wife. And look, Mishek, the people that pull you back are the people that are closest to you. That I can tell you. That is why when you have advisors, have those that are unknown. The ones that believe that they should only tell you what you want to hear are wrong advisors. Even in marriage, if you're going to listen to people who are close to you, you are going to be making wrong decisions. Listen from people. You cannot be in the picture and still see the frame. Listen from people, but they have some level of interest in you. Okay? So, look, being a politician is being of service. What is being of service? Is to stand for the people. The values that President Sata used to talk about. Because in life, you must reach a stage where you are saying, is it really necessary for me to eat 3 times a day when that child there deserves a uniform? We're celebrating yesterday Uniforms Day.
Right.
And I was supposed to be at Minande, where we're supposed to have launched under CDF the first flushable toilets since that school was constructed in 1994. They were using pit latrines there. Whether it's teachers, whether it's pit latrines. Now, under CDF, okay, they constructed a very good local contractor. You actually know him. He's one of the guys sometimes who shares a beer with us. His name is Ebenezer.
Oh,
Yeah. So, he did a fantastic job. And that's what we want to see, a lot of local people. And for the record, I don't give contracts, whether CDF or government. They are done by, a competent team under the council. So, in addition, because government has invested through CDF, the people of Zambia have invested through CDF, because this is taxpayers' money. CDF is taxpayers' money. But as a member of parliament, what else do you do to complement government effort? One of the key things, as you know, my mother was a teacher. One of the key things that I learned from my mother and father is that education is the key to success. Today, I don't eat kampompo for breakfast. I don't eat kotapela. Kotapela is actually a luxury now. Those days when we were eating it, we were thinking, how can I fulfill But those are now the foods that are most nutritious. Kotapela, you can have avocado for dinner, and you're done with a glass of water and a cup of tea. It's a good dinner meal for you, and so on. So, what do you do as Member of Parliament? So one of the key things I've been supporting is education. So grade 1, because free education was introduced, what I've done in my peri-urban schools is I get statistics. Girls, boys, grade 1. So that school has got about 30 grade 1s who have been enrolled. So what did we do? We have bought uniforms for all the 30. We have bought books for all the 30. We have bought sharpeners. We have bought them bags. We have bought them socks. Because we want to encourage parents to make sure that they send their children to school. They have a member of parliament who thinks about them every day.
And your opponent, Mr. George Finisher, is listening, I guess.
Oh, they can't manage. And the funny thing is, life is funny. His son used to come to my home, okay? And I didn't know that's the man he was talking about when he was complaining about his father. Do you know where that young man is working today?
I don't know.
He's a teacher at Pamoza Secondary School. Do you know who got him the job in teaching service?
I don't know.
You're looking at him right now. So I don't worry about these people. They have no idea what they're getting
And
themselves.
Mr. Wallace Karunga is also listening to you.
Those are colleagues who escort us. But I like his energy. I like people who challenge me. But I learned something from that interview. And I must apologize to people of Ndeke. Seemingly, as Member of Parliament and my councillor and my WDCs, we have not done a good job. And I'm pledging to them today that just yesterday an approval was done for a police post. We could not approve for a market.
Congratulations.
Because, thank you very much.
We need that police post. Honourable.
And that police post, we want to place it where the first roadblock starts, because we believe that that's going to, because that road will be busy when it's done.
Yes.
So we have agreed to say, let's put it where the police are already there. We put a police post there, and probably later on we put some houses there because the police are already there. The market, we couldn't agree because the market where it's being proposed, the marketeers around there have refused. They have said at the airstrip, and they're saying that it will become a white elephant. So it's a matter that we'll discuss with the community. But those marketeers who are there, they will also be given, I'm going to consider them for a grant in this 2025. If they don't get a grant, I'm going to give them money myself from my own salary as a grant to support them and increase their amount of katundu there. So I'm hoping to visit them. In addition, because of the water problem, Mulonga MD had spoken to me to say, Honourable, find us 2 million kwacha. We can do a water kiosk for the area. Because that area, even if you do a borehole, it will not work. Across the road in Mufura Central, yes. But on your side, that's where the airstrip was. So that area, water was drained out, I think, by the plants that were kept there or something. So we have already allocated some money. We will try and see what we can get from the savings. Then we can enter into a plan with Mulonga to see how that can be paid. So for Ndeke, we and then on the roads, again, the council has disappointed us. You know, I've always been telling you, we have bought equipment. In fact, in addition to this, because I was asking, why do we have Ifishala all over? What is the problem? No, that skip loader we have is under pressure. I said, but this is a time when people are supposed to be struggling financially. And therefore, there shouldn't be much rubbish around. No, Honourable, you want to watch the I said, oh, okay. So what do? We have this problem. I cannot be receiving pictures on Facebook, my hometown, and people seem to take pride in posting these things instead of saying, how do we help our town? At MP na lala, if you shall not pangik. Let's understand systems. It's a MP's rogam gutorefsha. First of all, it's the responsibility of a person to throw rubbish at a designated place. Now, that designated place, whose responsibility is it to make sure that that rubbish is collected? It's the responsibility of the council. Who in the council? It is, I think, the health department or whatever. So I was asking the council. So, if you know about the engineering, the health, okay. So health na ina ngasa na to ni ba finance taba funye ndara mashafi yo. So abana wonga taba sai but yo ni funding. It starts to point back to where government. That's what I was saying. When you come on radio, first before you start talking, you are going to embarrass government because it will start pointing to government. Now, if you point the MP, it will become difficult for the MP to appreciate that challenge because I have councillors. My role is clearly stipulated in the Constitution. But that doesn't mean that my role is just airtight or watertight to that. No. I've just given you an example of how we complement government effort. And that exercise of those uniforms, which we're planning for its day yesterday, we are going to replicate it in all the peri-urban schools. Because I've got all the numbers of all the grade ones. Why grade ones? We want every parent to take advantage of the free education.
I can see Mwengu that Kantanchi is now a no-go area.
No. I mean, I'm giving this leakage because and I don't mind people, learning from me. I learn from Honourable Mabeta. For example, the tractors that we bought for farming, I learned from him. Even just this tipper truck that I approved to say, okay, you're saying that the skip loader needs assistance. Gamwabika Papa Honourable tipper truck. Okay, ikalamia for the roads, ikalamia for Kusendefiko. Okay, put the tipper truck. It's not for me. It's for the people of Kantash. The people that are using that road in Ndeke is not me. It's the people that voted for me. So it's very, very, very important. It's very, very important that we make sure that we are responding to people's challenges. But again, it's so you can't satisfy everybody. And you can't make everybody happy. But you can strive to be on the path where you can make a difference. So I learned a few things from the colleagues that were here, and that's what life is all about. And even now, I was trying to tell you that people don't really know where I'm coming from. You saw there was a high balloon. Oh, Anthony is going now, UPND. No, what? Even Mumbipiri. Oh, UPND. What not? I'm a very focused young man. I support President Hakainde Hichilema. And even now, so. Look at how disorganized the opposition is.
And talking about...
Just look at how disorganized we are. Fueled by what? Selfishness. President ECO is out of the country on medical. Have you heard anything happening in opposition?
Don't say it's quiet.
Yes. They are waiting for who? Waiting for Edgar Lungu. Who they also know that won't be on the ballot because of the constitution announcement. These are facts. Whether you are an indoctrinated PF or you are a lover of ECO like me, because people think that when you express a different opinion about somebody, then you don't love them. That's like what Kambwili was telling Honourable Mwipiri to say, why that you mwaicho and you mwipo and you don't be from politics, and did she even stay more than 5 minutes? She left. Next, I heard her on radio saying, Uyo, he's not representing the people of Kantanshi. She has got the right.
Let me push
She's
you
got the right.
by the corner a bit,
Yes,
Honourable
continue.
Mumba. I know the presidential team is listening because the presidential team, they're also listening because of the topic which is coming. They are in Japan. President Hichilema will be going to Japan.
Yes.
I'm just chatting with someone in that delegation in Japan. Let me push you and ask you this personal question.
Ask me.
Is HH winning 2026?
No doubt he's winning. It might not be a landslide, considering the fact that many people feel that he hasn't done much on load shedding. Many people feel he hasn't done much on making their lives cheaper and better. Many people feel the jobs have not been forthcoming as they should have. But he has done things that the people that we represent might not understand because of probably levels of difference in ways that we have come to learn and know the economy. If we did not do the debt restructuring program, this country would have drowned in debt. Debt restructuring is basically, Misha, cut your home, namgwaten Kongole nga family, and then namgwaten Kongole kulin. Okay? And in Kongole shiri due. But you know to say, okay, nga bampela kwa inshitawa Mumba. Nga na bombesha sana, maybe muri business nga na chita kwa ifika business